Hi, welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker. We've come here together to taste teas, to help you pick a tea if you're looking for a tea, and also help us all practice and develop our skills of tea tasting and tea appreciation. So we've got a tea today. There's a oolong tea that we're going to get going here. We've got our gaiwan set. Gaiwan is a covered bowl. It's a Chinese style. It is really kind of the origin of even the modern tasting cup. It's the idea that you have a lid, you allow your teas to, and the steam and the heat of the tea to rise up so that it doesn't overcook or overheat some of your teas as they're steeping. So that's what we're going to be using. Gaiwans are especially useful for this kind of oolong, which is a kind of tea of basically of Chinese origin, although this tea is from Taiwan. We're going to talk a little bit more about the introduction, give an introduction to this tea, but we're going to add just a pinch more. This gaiwan is about if I remember correctly, it is a 4-ounce gaiwan, and so you saw that we gave about a full or very lumpy teaspoon size. If you are, by the way, trying to get into tea tasting and want some tea equipment or want to look at some teas and get ready to taste along with us so you can practice, you can look right up above. There's a Join a Tea Tastings link there. You'll find more information. This would also be useful if you and a group of people want to get together and taste some teas together. You may want to pitch in together, split the cost of the equipment or the tea. We've got our water here, and we brought it close to a boil and then allowed it to drop down and cool. Also, because we're using a porcelain here, that will kind of pull some of the heat away from the tea, actually. Another thing that you can do if you're wanting to control your temperature, don't put your lid on. You could actually just steep this tea with the lid off, which is what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to allow this to cool a little faster so that this particular tea, the instructions tell us that if you allow it to get a cooler temperature, it does tend to bring out some aspects that you don't notice, and we'll talk about those aspects in just a minute. Now, to kind of introduce this tea, this is from TeasEtc. It is called their PlumBlossom, 1 ounce, which is about what this tin size is. 1 ounce retails for $16.95. Like I said, this tea is from Taiwan, from the Miaoli County, which is just below the Hsinchu County. Hsinchu County, probably a little bit more recognized as the Baihao Oolong, which is what this overall type is. Hsinchu County, it maybe have greater recognition for the Baihao Oolongs, but considering it's a neighboring county, similar altitudes, what else can we tell you about this tea? Website goes on to, or I should say TeasEtc's product page goes on to tell us this tea was developed developed by a tea master, so we expect good things from this. The owners of TeasEtc, Beth and Newman, say that they have not cupped a tea, from this location that had this such a unique and wonderful complex or arrangement of aromas. They haven't tasted this kind since 2002, 2003, they say. So, kind of, and then that's about atmospheric conditions. That's about the condition of the plant as well. Seasons, how the leaf hopper, the little bugs interact and really cause this tea to react. So there's a lot of complexity into bringing about the flavors that we taste in our cup each day. So let's talk a little bit about the dry leaf. As we go through a tasting, we look at the dry leaf, the wet leaf, the liquor. So dry leaf. Yeah, first off, smells. It's a bit of a woody, it's got a little bit of sweetness to it, so it's kind of like it's closest to a wild grapevine would be the category or the description there. Now you look at the dry leaf. Let me kind of set this over this to look at. Dry leaf, you are getting you are getting some of the russet reddish brown type colors in here. You are getting actually some silvery or white looking, and those are tips. Those are buds. That is the fuzzy bud, the newest, some of the newest leaves that plant was producing. You are getting some of the seal brown, which is kind of like a darkish gray brown. So these have got deeper stages, deeper appearance of oxidization at this point. Now, considering the fact that we are, like I said, we have these buds with leaves attached to them, that gives us an indication that we're getting like a a bud with 1, 2, maybe 3 leaves. So good quality there, variety of colors, some richness of aroma in the dry leaf smell. Okay, so now we've talked about our dry leaf. Let's give our wet leaf a chance. If this is a good time, join me in pouring this. Perhaps you need some practice using a guy wand, holding it properly. So we'll get our tea towel, which is always handy, catching any drips. We put get our bowl here. Our lid leans over towards so that the lower part of the lid is over towards the cup here. We put our index finger on the top, middle finger and thumb on the rim here. Careful, that can be hot on that bowl part. And you use your back 2 fingers if you need to kind of support. But press down pretty firmly with your index finger so that your lid doesn't slide around. Because if it slides this way, if it slides over this way towards you, you're blocking the flow, and it can actually kind of flow out the sides where your fingers are, and that is not a pleasant feeling for your fingers. Now, if you were a very stickler, you might want to turn actually this way so that the lid is facing towards you. Okay. Now, we also use a wine glass for the value of allowing us to all look at the color together, which we're going to talk about in a minute. It's also a good size, a good round size, so you can stick your nose down in there deeply and get some good aromas there. Which, by the way, this tea has some wonderful aromas that we're going to be talking about. Now, before we go on to our liquor, though, we are going to talk about our wet leaf. Get a few smells of this as well. Rich, heavy. Oh, very nice. Aromas that are coming off, I associate with, I get this kind of orange blossom type smell coming off. Kind of orange peel, orange blossom. But it's also got a sweet wood, almost like a fragrant sandalwood. So it's somewhere like a combination orange blossom, orange peel, sandalwood. Very sweet, kind of robust, woody, and yet floral fragrant as well. So let's pull out some of these leaves, and as we said before, you are getting a bud, leaf, and leaf, 2 leaves and a bud, the kind of traditional standard for like many of your types of tea. We are getting rich varieties of colors. I'm going to pull out some of these. We've got a richer rust looking brown of some of these leaves. You can see little places in the sides of the leaves that are missing, and you're thinking, oh, is that where a bug bit on that? You're also getting some kind of olive drab with reddish, fiery looking edges on the leaf there. So we can pull out some more. Yeah, there's another nice 1 leaf and bud pair. Those are pretty. So good, following the expectation, meeting our expectation as far as the types of leaves that we saw in the dry are carried over here. Richness of oxidization, so that's nice as well. So those are good, good colors, good style, good kinds of leaf types there. So we're also going to now move on, of course, to our our liquor. Going to give this one a smell and talk a little bit about it. We got a nice, rich, orange yellow type color. I mean, this looks woody, it looks warm, looks bright. It's not a flat, dull look either. Again, nice full orange blossom type smells. So you got a little bit of orange blossom. That's the first thing that comes off. But let's get a taste and see what we pull out as well. The other thing you're going to notice when I taste, you want to slurp. You want to get air in there. You want to unlock as many aromatic compounds as possible. Slurp, swish it around, coat your mouth, get a feel all over. Now, aromas, you are getting some kind of, if you've ever had a rosebud tea, steeped rosebuds, you're getting a little bit of a rosebud in there. You're getting also a little bit of almost like an orange jelly. So imagine a breakfast, say you're drinking rosebud tea, you take a sip of the rosebud tea, or you take a bite of multi-grain toast spread with orange jelly. So you've got the toast, the jelly, take a bite, slurp a little bit, sip a little bit of the rosebud tea, swirl that around in your mouth, and that's what you're getting from this cup. Those are the aromas and tastes that are coming off of that. Now, to talk about the other aspects, astringency is, I would say, medium high for this type of tea. It does have a very prompt drying sensation that really starts off pretty quickly. The aftertaste is carries on. You are still getting those tastes that linger and they extend in that in how long they're in your mouth. Now the other part would be the body. It's not as, I would say it's a light brothy. It's not a very smooth type of broth or a very creamy type of brothiness. There is a little bit a light brothiness to it. So, good complex flavors and aromas coming off. We talked about the body was light, we would say, light brothy. The astringency was kind of up there, a little bit higher than some of the others. But considering the complexity of the aromas, we give this tea a 92. We'd like to drop. We would hope that it's great to have this kind of aromas and flavors that come off of this, especially for this tea, which TeasEtc says it's a rare combination or a rare find. It's been several years since they've gotten this level of flavor. But could we tone down the astringency a notch? Could we bump up the body just a little bit higher so it gets a little bit of a smoother feel, silken feel in the mouth? But having said that, rich, complex flavor profile. That's why we give this a 92. Tell us what you think. I encourage you to take this tea for a test drive, get it for yourself, enjoy it. I think this is one of those teas that you're really going to appreciate, and it's really a great introduction to what the potential of Bai Oolongs really is and what it can really offer. So we'll come back and join us again. We're going to be comparing Mao Feng's, which is a Chinese green. We're going to get two head to head, put them together, and see what happens.